It's no secret the Wachowskis loaded the trilogy with Christian symbolism. Neo dies and resurrects. He's called the One. He performs miracles. But it's not just the symbolism, it's the message itself. What you're about to see is the shocking similarity between the message of Jesus and the final message of the Matrix. And once you see it, you'll never watch the ending the same way again. Neo stands before the Deus Ex Machina. His eyes are blinded, completely defenseless. Neo is no longer fighting, no longer running. At this point, he knows exactly what he is doing, and he knows exactly what he has to do to stop the war and save humanity from extinction.
If that's true, then I've made a mistake and you should kill me now.
He has made the deal with the ruler of the Machine City. He is ready to sacrifice himself in exchange for peace.
What do you want? Peace.
As a kid watching this movie, I wanted the rebels to fight, defeat the machines, and win the war in an epic battle. So the ending did not make sense to me at the time. But now, knowing how much the story of Jesus has inspired The Matrix, I now realize why the trilogy ended the way it ended. Neo's final act wasn't just heroic. It was the only move in the entire war that the machines couldn't predict, couldn't calculate, couldn't see coming. And understanding why changes everything about what the Wachowskis were actually trying to say. Because the real question isn't whether Neo saves the day, it's how someone with no eyes, no weapons, and no chance of winning manages to end a war that's raged for centuries. The answer isn't in the final battle. It's in what the machines fundamentally cannot understand about being human.
I wished I had one more chance to say what really mattered, to say how much I loved you, how grateful I was for every moment I was with you.
Trinity says it best in her final moments. That's not just a goodbye. That's the thesis of the entire film. Love, sacrifice, selflessness, these aren't weaknesses. They're the weapons that rational systems can never account for. What truly changes the cause of history are the selfless acts we make without expecting anything in return. To understand why giving everything away is the only path to victory, we need to go back to where Neo's real journey begins. Not when he learns he's the One, but when he learns what the One actually means. The architect scene isn't just exposition, it's the movie explaining its entire philosophy in one conversation. And most people watch it thinking it's complicated, that it's the Wachowskis being deliberately obtuse. But it's actually explaining something simple. The Matrix is a probability engine. Every choice, every action, every human variable has been calculated, predicted, and accounted for.
You are the eventuality of an anomaly which, despite my sincerest efforts, I have been unable to eliminate from what is otherwise a harmony of mathematical precision.
The architect tells Neo exactly this. You exist because the system needs an error correction mechanism. You're not special. You're a function, a necessary glitch that keeps the whole thing running. And here's the truly disturbing part. This isn't the first time. The architect reveals that Neo is the sixth one. 6 versions of this same scenario, 6 chosen ones who all ended up in that same room, faced with the same 2 doors. And every single one before Neo made the same choice. They chose the door that saves Zion. They selected 23 people to rebuild. They rebooted the system. The cycle continued. The machines didn't just predict rebellion, they designed it. They built hope into the code. They created the prophecy of the One specifically so humans would fight, resist, believe, and then ultimately comply when the moment of truth arrived. The architect even sounds bored when he explains it.
This will be the 6th time we have destroyed it, and we have become exceedingly efficient at it.
Think about what that means. The machines turned resistance itself into part of their algorithm. Zion exists because the Matrix needs it to exist. The war continues because the system requires conflict to maintain stability. Freedom is an illusion programmed into the code to make slavery bearable. This is how empires actually work. They don't crush every rebellion. They absorb them, predict them, turn them into pressure release valves. The Matrix is brilliant because it shows us that even our desire for freedom can be commodified, controlled, and made part of the very system we're trying to escape. And Neo was supposed to follow the pattern. Choose Zion over Trinity. Save the many over the one. make the rational, utilitarian choice that preserves humanity for another cycle. The architect can already see the chemical precursors for Neo's decision forming in his brain. The machines have won before the choice is even made.
The problem is choice.
Except Neo does something unprecedented. He chooses the left door. He chooses Trinity. He chooses love over logic, one person over thousands, the irrational over the calculated.
Hope. It is the quintessential human delusion, simultaneously the source of your greatest strength and your greatest weakness.
The architect calls it humanity's fatal flaw. But what if he's wrong? What if the machine's inability to understand hope is actually their weakness, not ours? Because here's what the architect can't grasp. Genuine selflessness doesn't operate on game theory. It can't be predicted because it has no payoff. And a system built entirely on rational calculation literally cannot see it coming. Neo's choice to save Trinity seems small, personal, maybe even selfish. He's choosing one woman over the entire human race. But that choice starts a chain reaction that nobody, not even the Oracle, fully predicted.
Can you tell me what you would give to hold on to that connection?
Anything.
Earlier in the film, Ramachandra asks Neo this simple question, and Neo doesn't hesitate. Ramachandra, a program who claims to love his daughter, recognizes something in Neo that the architect never could. The willingness to sacrifice everything for something that can't be quantified, measured, or predicted. Trinity lives by the same code. Not some of it, not most of it, everything. That's not strategy, that's not tactics, that's love. And love is fundamentally irrational. And once Neo breaks the pattern, once he steps outside the architect's equation, everything starts to cascade. Morpheus has spent the entire trilogy believing in prophecy, in destiny, in the One. But in Revolutions, his faith gets tested. The prophecy seems broken. Neo is trapped. Nothing makes sense anymore.
As long as there is a single breath in his body, he will not give up. And neither can we.
And yet Morpheus chooses to keep believing, not in prophecy, in Neo the person. He tells the council this: that's faith without evidence. That's selfless loyalty to a friend when rational calculation says it's hopeless.
I still don't. I believe in him.
Niobe doesn't believe in the One at all. She says it explicitly when asked. But when Neo asks for her ship, she gives it to him anyway. Why? Because she believes in him as a person. She's sacrificing her vessel, her mission, maybe her life, for someone whose plan sounds completely insane. There's no logical reason to do this. She does it anyway. Captain Mifune dies holding Gate 3 open, telling the kid with his last breath that he can do it. The kid isn't trained. He's 16, lying about being 18. He has no business piloting an APU, but he does it because Mifune believed in him.
I didn't finish the training program.
Neither did I.
When the kid says he didn't finish the training program, Mifune's final words are perfect. Neither did he. And yet, here they are, fighting anyway. And Trinity flies straight into the machine city knowing she'll die. Neo knows it too. He tells her he's scared, and she responds by describing how it took her 10 minutes just to buckle one boot because her hands were shaking. But she hasn't changed her mind. 6 hours ago, she promised to give everything for Neo. Now she's making good on that promise. Every single one of these choices violates rational self-interest. Game theory says they're all making mistakes. The machine's algorithms would categorize these decisions as errors, glitches, failures of logic. But that's exactly why they work, because the machines built their entire civilization on the assumption that every actor pursues maximum benefit at minimum cost. Humans will always choose survival over death, many over one, certainty over risk. Selfless sacrifice has no payoff, so it doesn't compute. It's invisible to the system, and once enough people start making these impossible choices, the probability matrix starts breaking down. The machines can't predict what happens next, because they're watching variables behave in ways that shouldn't be possible. That's the shift. From prophecy to person, from destiny to choice, from calculated rebellion to genuine sacrifice. And it's not random. It's not just emotional. There's a specific reason why this pattern of selflessness leads to Neo's final sacrifice. Because he's not just improvising. He's following a template that's existed for thousands of years. The Wachowskis didn't hide the Christian imagery. Neo literally dies in a cruciform position with golden light radiating from his body. His initials are TA, Thomas Anderson, doubting Thomas who becomes the Anderson, the Son of Man. He's resurrected after dying in the first film. He performs miracles. The symbolism is everywhere. But this isn't just visual reference for the sake of looking cool. It's thematic, because Neo's sacrifice mirrors Christ's in a way that reveals something fundamental about how selfless acts break systemic logic.
He is you. Your opposite, your negative. The result of the equation trying to balance itself out.
The Oracle explains Smith perfectly. Smith is Neo's shadow self. Everything Neo represents, selflessness, love, sacrifice, Smith represents the opposite. Ego, domination, the desire to consume everything and turn it into himself. Smith is sin made manifest, not in the religious sense, but in the systemic sense. He's unchecked human corruption, the virus that infects both humans and programs. He's what happens when self-interest becomes pathological, when the desire for control metastasizes until it destroys everything. And here's the pattern. Christ defeats sin not by fighting it, but by absorbing it. He takes on the sins of humanity, dies carrying them, and through that death creates the possibility of redemption. It looks like defeat, the Son of God dying on a cross like a common criminal. But that apparent defeat is actually the strategy. Neo does the same thing. He can't defeat Smith in combat. The Oracle has already shown Smith that Neo dies in this confrontation. The ending is predetermined. Smith has won, so Neo does the one thing Smith can't understand. He stops fighting, he accepts assimilation, he lets Smith take over his body, lets the virus spread to its ultimate host. It looks like total defeat. Smith thinks he's won.
Is it over?
But Neo chose this. He laid down and let it happen. By becoming the host for Smith, Neo gives the machines a direct connection to the source code of their own corrupted creation. They can purge the Smith virus by purging Neo, the sacrifice that saves both worlds. Christ dies for humanity's sins and rises to offer salvation. Neo dies hosting Smith's virus and creates the peace that allows the machines to free any human who wants to leave. Both prove the same principle. The greatest power isn't dominance. It's the willingness to give up everything, including your life, for a purpose larger than yourself.
I have your word.
What do you think I am? Human?
The architect and the Oracle meet at the end, and their conversation reveals the implications. The architect asks about the ones who want out of the Matrix. The Oracle presses him, and the architect, pure logic, responds with this. Neo's death doesn't just end the war, it creates a new covenant. Humans who want to leave can leave. The machines agree to peace. The cycle is broken, not because anyone won, but because someone was willing to lose everything to make a different outcome possible. This pattern, breaking systems through sacrifice instead of force, isn't limited to religious texts. It's how real change has always happened. The Matrix isn't just science fiction, it's an allegory for any system of control, and the history of human civilization is full of empires that operated exactly like the machines do. They calculate human behavior, they predict rebellion, they have strategies for crushing resistance and co-opting movements. Gandhi didn't defeat the British Empire with armies. He couldn't. They had superior firepower, resources, infrastructure. So he did something the empire couldn't calculate. He met their violence with non-violence. He accepted suffering without retaliation. He made their brutality look monstrous by refusing to respond in kind. The British could strategize against armed rebellion. They had no playbook for a man who kept getting beaten and arrested and who simply refused to fight back. Gandhi stepped outside the system's logic. He didn't try to beat the empire at its own game. He made the game irrelevant. The Buddha gave up a kingdom. He walked away from wealth, power, and comfort to sit under a tree and pursue enlightenment. That's not strategic in any rational sense, but it demonstrated something that changed billions of lives. The pursuit of power itself is the trap. Want nothing and you can't be controlled. Martin Luther King Jr. faced dogs, fire hoses, and assassins with speeches about love and brotherhood. The segregationists could handle violence. They had more of it. What they couldn't handle was someone who kept showing up, kept preaching, kept sacrificing, and refused to hate them back. It made their system of oppression look barbaric because it was. The pattern repeats. Empires can calculate resistance. They can predict revolution. They have contingency plans for armed rebellion, propaganda campaigns, economic pressure. What they cannot calculate is someone who wants nothing, sacrifices everything, and changes hearts instead of breaking systems. Because the moment you fight the empire on its terms, violence for violence, power for power, you become part of its logic. You become predictable. The system absorbs you. But genuine selflessness? That's not in the playbook. That's not in the algorithm. And once enough people start operating outside rational self-interest, the system loses its ability to maintain control.
I only ask to say what I've come to say. After that, do what you want, and I won't try and stop you.
Neo does exactly this. He doesn't threaten the machines. He doesn't bargain with Zion as leverage. He doesn't demand terms. He walks into the machine city and says this.
What do you want? Peace.
The Deus Ex Machina, the machine god, asks what he wants. Neo's answer is one word. Not victory, not dominance, not even survival. Peace, for both sides, at the cost of his own life. The machines, pure logic incarnate, recognize this is the only solution. They can't predict it because it makes no rational sense for an individual to offer his life for mutual benefit with no guarantee of return. But once it's offered, they can see it's the only path that doesn't end in mutual destruction. Smith is about to consume everything. The Matrix, the Machine City, both worlds. The machines can't stop him, but Neo can if they'll work together. It's not a negotiation. It's an offer of sacrifice that makes cooperation possible for the first time. So when Neo stands before the machine god and offers himself, he's not being traditionally heroic. He's doing something the entire trilogy has been building toward. He's proving that selflessness is the weapon rational systems can never defend against. Neo is blind, beaten, impaled through the chest by rebar. Smith has won. The Oracle even showed him this moment.
I've seen this. This is it. This is the end. You were laying right there, just like that. I stand here, right here.
But this is exactly where Neo needs to be, because the final battle isn't really a fight. It's Neo demonstrating that he's already won by choosing to lose.
Why, Mr. Anderson? Why? Why?
Why do you do it? Why? Why get up? Why keep fighting? You believe you're fighting for something, for more than your survival? Can you tell me what it is?
Smith keeps asking the same question in different ways. He lists possibilities: freedom, truth, peace, love, and dismisses each one.
Illusions, Mr. Anderson, vagaries of perception. Temporary constructs of a feeble human intellect trying desperately to justify an existence that is without meaning or purpose.
This is Smith's fundamental flaw. He can't understand motivation without payoff. He's become pure ego, pure will to power. He exists to consume, to dominate, to prove superiority. In his worldview, love is insipid, purpose is illusion, and fighting without hope of winning is madness.
You must be able to see it, Mr. Anderson. You must know it by now. You can't win. It's pointless to keep fighting. Why, Mr. Anderson? Why? Why do you persist?
So when Neo keeps getting up, keeps fighting despite having no chance of victory, Smith genuinely cannot understand it.
Because I choose to.
And Neo gives the simplest, most devastating answer in the trilogy. Not because he'll win, not because he has to, not because prophecy or destiny or strategy demands it, because he chooses to. That's it. That's the whole reason. And Smith, for all his power, all his copies, all his infection of the entire Matrix, has no response to that, because choice without reason is the one thing Smith cannot compute. He's a virus, a program gone rogue. He operates on directives, even corrupted ones. Neo is human, and humans can choose things that make no sense, offer no benefit, and still be right to choose them.
Everything that has a beginning has an end, Neo.
The final battle escalates. They're flying, crashing, creating craters in the Matrix code itself. And Neo is losing. Badly. He's on the ground, broken, when Smith says the words the Oracle showed him.
What?
What did I just say? No, this isn't right. This can't be right.
But then something changes. Neo starts to get up again, and Smith realizes the vision was wrong.
You were right, Smith. You're always right.
Neo isn't fighting to win anymore. He's fighting to contain Smith, to be the vessel Smith assimilates, to make his own body the battlefield where this ends. He tells Smith this, and he stops defending himself. He lets Smith take over. Smith thinks he's won, and Neo, now wearing Smith's face, simply nods.
No, it's not fair.
But the moment Smith's code fully assimilates Neo, golden light surges through the connection. The machines have their direct link to the virus. They purge Smith through Neo's willing body. Every Smith clone across the Matrix screams and disintegrates. The rain itself seems to be washing them away. Smith's last words are perfect. It's not fair. He won the fight. He assimilated the one. He did everything right, according to the rules of combat and dominance and power. But Neo wasn't playing that game. He turned his own defeat into victory by making his body the conduit for Smith's deletion. It's not a defeat when you choose it. It's not losing when it's part of the plan.
It is done.
The Deus Ex Machina receives the feedback, understands what Neo has done, and speaks two words. The war ends, not because anyone won, but because someone chose to lose everything. The machines get their survival. Humans get their freedom. Anyone who wants to leave can leave. The Matrix continues, but as a choice rather than a prison.
I've done all that I could do. Now you have to do the rest. You have to finish it.
And Neo's body is carried away by the machines, glowing with golden light, while Trinity's words echo. He did, not by fighting harder or being stronger, by giving everything away. So what does this actually mean? Not for Neo, not for the Matrix, but for us? The Matrix has always been about more than machines and humans. It's about how we relate to systems of control. Corporate structures that demand we sacrifice our lives for profit. Political machines that turn resistance into fundraising. Social media algorithms that commodify our attention and anger. These are our matrices, systems designed to predict and control human behavior. They operate on the same principle as the architect's design. Calculate what people want, give them the illusion of choice, absorb any resistance into the system itself. You can rebel, but your rebellion will be merchandised. You can resist, but your resistance becomes content. The system doesn't fear opposition, it feeds on it. The message of revolutions is simple. You can't beat these systems by playing their game. You cannot out-rational a rational system. You cannot dominate a system built on dominance. Fighting the Matrix on its terms just makes you part of the equation. What actually breaks these systems? Radical acts of selflessness that make no strategic sense. Choosing community over personal advancement. Choosing principle over victory. Choosing sacrifice over survival. When Trinity tells Neo this in her final moments, she's not just talking about saving Zion. She's talking about finishing what they started together, proving that love, sacrifice, and selflessness are stronger than calculation, domination, and control.
Did you always know?
Oh, no. No, I didn't. But I believed.
The Oracle tells Seraph at the very end. That's the key. Not knowing, not calculating, not predicting. Believing in something that can't be quantified, having faith in people even when rational analysis says it's hopeless, making choices that look like mistakes but are actually the only moves that change anything.
He ended the war, the machines are gone! The war is over!
Is this real?
The kid runs through Zion screaming this, and it is. Not because Neo killed all the machines, not because humans won, because someone made peace possible by giving up everything, including his life, to create a different kind of ending. Neo's message isn't be a hero, it's be willing to give up being the hero. The most powerful thing you can do isn't to fight harder, strategize better, or dominate more effectively. It's to step outside the game entirely through acts of genuine selflessness. That's what the machines couldn't calculate. That's what the architect couldn't predict. That's what changes everything. So when people say Matrix Revolutions has a confusing ending, they're missing the entire point. The ending isn't confusing, it's the thesis. Neo doesn't defeat the machines, he makes defeating them unnecessary. He doesn't win the war, he ends it by proving there's another way. The Matrix isn't destroyed. People are given the choice to leave. This is the Wachowskis' final statement. Systems of control thrive on conflict. They feed on resistance. They turn rebellion into fuel for their continuation. The endless cycle of domination and revolution, oppression and uprising, control and freedom, these are all part of the same game. The only way to truly escape is to refuse to participate in that cycle, not through apathy or surrender, but through active, selfless sacrifice that rewrites what's possible. By choosing love over logic, people over systems, sacrifice over survival.
Just how long do you think this peace is going to last?
As long as it can.
The architect asks the oracle at the end. She responds with this: the peace is fragile, uncertain, maybe temporary, but it exists because someone was willing to lose everything for it. That sunrise Sati creates, that beautiful orange and pink dawn breaking over the Matrix, isn't just pretty imagery. It's the dawn of a new possibility, a world where the choice between human and machine, freedom and control, doesn't have to end in extinction.
Will we ever see him again?
Someday.
Sati asks if they'll ever see Neo again. The oracle says this: because Neo's sacrifice doesn't end the story, it opens a new one where peace, however fragile, is possible, where both species can coexist, where the cycle of domination and rebellion is broken, at least for now, all because someone chose selflessness over ego, sacrifice over victory, love over survival. That's the final message of the Matrix. The most powerful force in any system isn't control. It's the willingness to give up control completely, to offer everything without demanding anything in return, to choose to lose so that everyone else might have a chance to win. That's what the machines couldn't predict. That's what saves both worlds. That's what makes Neo's blindness in the final act so perfect. He can't see the Matrix anymore. Can't see strategies or probabilities or outcomes. He can only see what truly matters: love, faith, sacrifice. And in the end, that's the only thing that ever changes anything.